All right. Welcome to This and That Podcasting Podcast. I'm Alex Bauer here with my best friend, Kyle Dobus. This is episode 14. Today is Tuesday, March 4th. We are finally in March. Going to talk about the upcoming week with basketball kind of coming to a close for the season, and then going to start up some conference play here in a little bit. Going to cover some NFL Combine that just happened with our entertainment segment. And then obviously upcoming week, like I said, we got, some good old basketball and a little bit of baseball, I guess. And then,
Yeah, it seems like a lot of basketball. We also got some fantasy folks to talk about. Not too much, but a little bit of that. Our favorite segment, we got some gambling men to talk about, and always bring it back home with our homeward bound with our favorite team talk.
yeah,
But it looks like we can just go ahead and start writing the weekend review.
just get right into it. All right. I think I went 3 for 5 this week with my pick top 5 compared to the actual top 5. The 3 games that I landed, obviously the Tennessee-Alabama game was very good, back and forth the whole game. Ends up on a 3 by Jamai Mashak. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that,
Mashak.
but he gets my player of that game as well, getting 11 points and 6 rebounds, and getting the game winner for that. And obviously I picked right as well with picking Tennessee winning the game. So look at me go.
Yep.
The second game, not so much. Columbus Blue Jackets, Detroit Red Wings. I picked Detroit to win this game, but I'm giving the player of the game to Patrick Kane, getting a goal and 2 assists for the Red Wings. Kind of coming through for us. Yeah, he had a really good game there. And
Refs did not.
The refs totally botched everything. And then my third is the TCU Baylor game. TCU and Baylor coming down to the wire, 51-48. TCU winning, and I predicted that pretty spot on. And this game was for basically the Big 12 women's side, the Big 12 regular season championship. Whoever won this game was going to win the Big 12 regular season. And the player of that game, I'm giving it to Sedona Price, going 16 points and 19 rebounds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job, ladies.
I know, right?
Yeah, I didn't do too hot in my past week.
Oh, no.
Oh no, I did. I went like 2 for 3. I mean, there were some good games they were close. So I had like Detroit, Columbus, like you. I had Alabama, Tennessee, like you.
Yep.
The ones that I picked, I had Auburn versus Kentucky. I had Texas A&M versus Florida, and I had Wisconsin versus Michigan State. Those last 3 really didn't fold up to what I would consider like a really good game of the week. They kind of just ended up being almost blowouts for all those teams. So yeah, my picks, I had Detroit and Columbus. That was one that I hit. I gave the player of the game to that one to Merzlikins, their goalie. He made some great saves. I mean, he was 40. I think had like 45 saves or 45 shots on goal to 42 saves. So he had a really good game.
Yeah,
he kept him in it the whole game.
He was pretty much standing on his head because we were just peppering him the whole game.
Yeah, and Detroit played a really good game. I mean, you just can't blame them. 2 weird goals for Columbus. And then a non-high sticking / also a slew foot non-call in the same play gives them the game-winning goal, which should have been a Detroit power play with the last 2 minutes of the game. So who knows what would have happened there? They would at least win overtime more than likely, but refs ruined a good ending for an outdoor game. Let's see. I had my other one I hit. Just like you, I had Alabama and Tennessee. That was on mine also. Guy gave that one to Chaz Lanier with 18 points. He's been their stud all year, and he came out. Wasn't too hot on threes that game, but he still got the points when he needed them. He was there for, I think he had like 4 or 5 rebounds. So pretty good play for a guard play against a top team.
Yeah, and sometimes that guard play, especially if you watch the game, he did all the little things to kind of get them over that hump.
No turnovers. Didn't turn the ball over too much.
Yeah, because sometimes things that don't show up on the stat sheet, if you pull it off, you can still be player of the game kind of thing.
Yeah. My other three games that I picked for actual top, besides those two, I had one was going to be my upset of the week, just ended up being just my game of the week. One of them is the number 10 Texas Tech beating Kansas 78-73 with
Yep.
JT Toppin, their superstar. I think he had like another 20 points in this game. So he's been their star all year, just like Lanier has been for Tennessee. He's just been a standout guy for them, and they look good. They went into Kansas, beat them when Kansas needed a win. So that was a good win for Texas Tech. I got my last two. So the next one I have is gonna be my upset of the week, which we'll talk about a little bit. Is 14 Missouri going down to Vanderbilt, 93-97 in overtime.
Oh wow.
And there's a couple guys I
Yeah.
could give. Yeah, there's a couple guys I could give the player of the game to. This one would be Vandy's Caleb Grill. He had 28 points and mainly off the bench. So getting 28 points off of a guard off the bench is really good. So that's some good scoring there. He's more of their their fifth player, but
Yeah.
still got to give him the player of the game off the bench. So it was a big upset win for Ant Vandy, who seems to only do it at home against these top teams. It's really weird, and then gets like blown out against everybody else.
The grill was
my last
hot, as
one-
Kyle is saying here.
The grill was on fire.
The grill was on fire.
Smoking. It was smoking. My last one, I'll give Michigan some love since there's not much love to give for them this week. I gave that one the Michigan Wolverines 84 to Rutgers 82. Only reason why I won my game of the week was because it was an insane buzzer beater at the end of the game by Namari Burnett, who got my player of the game on that one with 20 points. So it was a good game back and forth. Michigan looked terrible to start, and Rutgers shot like 80% to start the game in the first half, and then they fell off. Michigan started playing better with a really fun, exciting way to end the game. With I think it was a far 3-pointer he made, but it was really cool to watch that one.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so the two games that I picked in top five that were the misses was the Florida Texas A&M game. Florida kind of taking control and beating Texas A&M 89-70. They were pretty much in the lead almost the whole game. Like they started off behind. I'll say that much, and then they just found their way and they got control and they won the game.
Yeah.
And then the other miss was the Michigan State-Wisconsin game. I took Michigan State to win, and Michigan State wins 71-62. But I think these two games that I have in my actual top five replace them. So one of those two is Maryland Ohio State women's basketball. Maryland beats Ohio State 93-90. And the player of that game goes to Kylene Smikel. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but that was a good stab at it. And she gets 26 points in 8 rebounds.
That was a hell of a game right there.
Yeah, that's really great game for her. And then the other game I think belongs in this top five is the Capitals Senators game. It had a lot of, wild card implications and playoff implications between the two teams going into overtime. 5-4, Capitals win, and I'm giving the game player of the game to Tom Wilson, getting 1 goal and 1 assist.
Yeah, I like that.
So
It's pretty good games. Yeah, it's a good choice because even though the Michigan State Wisconsin game was only like 8 points, after like 3 minutes into the second half, Michigan State kind of took over. It wasn't really close after that. It was more Wisconsin trying to like stay in the game and try to play catch up. But so yeah, I wanted that game to be close, but it really wasn't by the end of it.
no. And then my honorable mentions going to some baseball. UNCG beating Pittsburgh 13-11 this past weekend.
It's a high scoring game.
Yeah.
Did you see the what team was it? Was it Maryland that had that insane run game? It was like 34-27.
I believe so. Yeah, let me check.
It was like almost a record for the most runs scored in a D1 baseball game. Like for both
you remember
teams
what day
combined.
it was? If it was Friday, Saturday.
I want to say it was early last week, so maybe Thursday, Friday. I want to
Friday.
say it was Maryland, but it was crazy.
Because usually they play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they play either on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And let's see here.
That was crazy. I've never seen a D1 baseball game go like that. I think it was Maryland.
Maryland played Western Carolina. The Friday game was 8-7. Oh wait, this is last week. This is not. This was because it's got the TCU game still there.
And I could have been way off with when it was, but
28th is what we want. Let's see here. Get down to the Big Ten.
I could have sworn it was Maryland.
17-1 against Princeton
No,
was Friday, but that's
I swear they scored like 34 runs.
that was Friday. So let's see Saturday. I got to scroll like
It might have been. It might have been. I think it was Princeton actually.
Because Saturday. I love having to scroll. 10-7 on Saturday.
No, maybe it wasn't.
Maybe it wasn't.
I'm just crazy.
Let me look at Sunday. Almost there, because they had a 3-game series against them, so it could have been the third game. Finish off the sweep. And let's see here. Big Ten baseball. They played Wake Forest and they lost 9-1. Huh. Weird. Yeah. Maybe it was somebody else.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, I think I know which game you're talking about. Like there was a pretty high scoring game for a team to where they put up 20 or so points on somebody. Massachusetts Coppin State 22-7. Jeez. That's a high scoring baseball game.
I think this might have been it. No.
Yeah, I try and find them on D1.
It was Rhode Island versus Denver.
Oh wow, digging for some gold.
Right, Rhode Island. It was like Rhode Island versus Indiana State, and it went Rhode Island versus William and Mary, 36-22.
Oh, jeez. Whoa.
Yeah, Rhode Island versus William and Mary, 36-22.
Did they decide to turn the baseball field into a football field?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what pitchers were pitching, but they might want to find a new
they want a
sport to play after that one.
Whole new bullpen.
Yeah. But off topic a little bit there, but yeah. So my honorable mention actually isn't even
defense is optional here in this game.
Yeah, that was no pitching. It was just coach pitching this one.
Coach pitch.
Yeah, coach pitch. T-ball. Hills T-ball. T-ball. Rhode Island versus William and Mary.
Gosh.
No, my honorable mention goes to NHL. It's the Philadelphia Flyers lost Pittsburgh Penguins 5-4 in overtime. It was a really good game, going back and forth. Both teams basically was neck and neck the whole time. Pens took it in overtime with player of the game goes to Evgeny Malkin. He ended up with 2 goals and 2 assists in that one, so he had a really good game for that one.
Nice, yeah, I like that. And then upsets of the week. The picked upset that I had was obviously Kansas over Texas Tech. That missed with Texas Tech winning 78-73. And then the one that actually ends up being the upset of the week to me is what you said is the Vanderbilt Missouri game.
Yep, that was mine as well. As a top 15 team going to an unranked team, even though Vandy has had a habit of beating these top 15 teams when they're at home. So, and
it sounds like they figured out that court storming situation. So apparently they put a clock up that starts at 1 minute and 30 seconds. So when they start this clock is like right when the game is over.
Get the handshakes. Yeah, get the handshakes done and get over, and then they can storm.
And so it seems like everybody's kind of following suit with what Vanderbilt's doing because since Vanderbilt's been doing it, they haven't had a lawsuit from the SEC because they wait long enough and basically TV's gone. You know, a whole
I like that.
Like unless they're talking to a player, but. More or less, they're tuning out because they can't really interview anybody but the coach really at that point.
Yeah, it's safe, it's smart, and you're not going to get lawsuits. And I like it. It at least keeps the fans into it and lets them storm the court still. So I like it.
So I think it's a good way to go, especially for every school to just kind of do that.
do some sort of timer for when they can actually start storming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then gut reactions. March is finally here, Kyle, and
Yep,
it's
that's my gut
exciting.
reaction. We're down to the final week of regular season basketball.
The March Madness is here.
The madness is about to start. I guess we're gonna have to do a bracket live
I mean on
the podcast.
Yeah. What my idea for next week is we'll try to go over our Sweet 16, Elite 8, and then Final Four, and then championship. Like just
the whole entertainment / fantasy section will literally just be us one at a time going down and picking brackets.
Because honestly, it's literally good. Just take up our upcoming week because we have no other You could talk baseball.
Let's see,
a little bit.
Well, selection. Well,
because we don't really know the games. We could just do like the first round is our upcoming top 5 games of the week, and then it's just going to turn out to be like your second round is going to end up being somewhere in the actual top 5. So we're going to either hit like 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 5, anyways. So it's might as well just talk all.
Well, it won't be for next podcast because Selection Sunday. What we can do is the next podcast because Selection Sunday is next Sunday.
Well, that's the thing is like I got conference play, so I don't know my schedule next week.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe we can get one in there.
Hopefully, we get. It might be ending up like on a day like today, Tuesday, because conference play doesn't usually start till Wednesday, Thursday, and then
TBD. Everyone, TBD. Maybe we'll get to do a bracket for an episode.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing too is like I want us to go through and pick our conference champions from the tournaments when we do it next week too.
I like it.
Speaking of that, so all right, going into some NFL Combine talk now. I've only asked 2 questions. If you got anything to throw in there, Kyle, I'm open for it. So
I like the 2 questions.
Yeah, so
I mean it's pretty much the only thing you can look for with combines.
Yeah, who was the most outstanding player in your eyes for the NFL Combine?
So far, I mean, to me the combine's been kind of boring. Like all the big guys haven't really been doing too much, but it's like no one's really improved their stock too much, and no one's really hurt their stock that much. There's a couple players that have a little bit, but it's been kind of
disagree. My guy's like
it's been kind of a mediocre. So. I mean, going to where they're projected, it doesn't really hurt their draft picks because, like, I know you're going into, and I agree, he deserves to be on there, but he's been looking like to be a top. I mean, not a top, like maybe a day 5 pick, day 6, or not day 5, day 3 pick, like 5th round type guy. But I'll just go with mine. So the most outstanding player so far to me that's kind of like bumped their stock has been Luther Burden, the wide receiver from Missouri, and Quinton Judkins for Ohio State.
Nice.
Luther Burden suffered this year with Missouri having to be kind of a gadget guy. Like he wasn't able to fully show what he's actually capable of like he did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and I think teams are starting to see that in the combine how explosive he is. He's big, he's tall, runs fast, great hands, great route runner, and I think he's probably my number 2 wide receiver out of all these guys that are going into this draft. And then Judkins just had to play with a timeshare with TreVeyon Henderson this year, so you didn't really get to see how good he really was. I mean, you did a little bit, but I think he's a better runner, like a pure running back than TreVeyon Henderson, and I think it's starting to show a little bit in these combine drills. So I did like Judkins, and I like Luther Burden has been my 2 risers.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. I like Jackson Dart. I feel like he boosted his stock in this combine. Like especially a lot of guys are talking about him, especially Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper has been boosting this guy up a little bit with what he saw from the NFL Combine. So I kind of like him and see where he's going because apparently, according to Mel, he's probably moved to being a day 2, day 1 draft.
Yeah, he could be like the number 3. I had him projected as like a number 3 out of the quarterbacks. So, and I've always liked Jackson Dart, especially I watched one of his last games. It might have been the bowl game. Can't remember who they played, but he made an insane throw running to his left. So cross body, hits a wide receiver on a dime in double coverage, probably about 45 yards downfield in the corner of the end zone. One of the best throws I've seen all year from a quarterback, if not ever from a quarterback in college. So the dude's insane. He's got great skills, great arm. So yeah, I was really high on Jackson Dart to begin with before even this combine started.
No, I agree with you there. I mean, that sounds like, yeah, where to you, it doesn't seem like the stock, kind of boosted for him in your eyes. But to me, I just felt like he wasn't really talked about much until the combine. Like, he didn't really have that great of a season coming out of the Ole Miss and like all this stuff, and to, come into the combine and do all that to what he did. To me, I feel like that's a boost.
I only say he's not like a boost. Maybe he got a boost in like when he'll get picked, but I was talking more of a boost of other players in front of him. So
okay.
The only one that he could boost over is probably like Quinn Ewers, possibly.
Yeah.
Because my top two have been Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, and Jackson Dart. So yeah, I could see the boost like going up over Quinn Ewers instead to be maybe the number 3 quarterback taken. So yeah, he definitely has improved his stock.
All right. So who do you think looked like a flop this past NFL Combine?
Well, I want to say your guy, so I'll let you
go
take
ahead.
him.
No, you take him. Like, because I haven't watched this. Like this.
Yeah, Will Howard did not look. Yeah, Will Howard did not look.
Highlight
Will Howard looked terrible. He missed. I mean, it's one thing you miss like one throw or two throws. He missed like all of his throws. Like it was almost like every single one he missed them. And that's why I had Quinn Ewers also, because Quinn Ewers didn't look that great either. He was missing a couple throws, but I think Quinn Ewers is just a better overall quarterback.
Yeah.
And like I said to begin with, it's like I don't think I mean, yeah, it's obviously going to hurt Will Howard's stock, but no one was like extremely high on Will Howard to begin with. They know who they were getting out of Will Howard, like a backup quarterback maybe at some point. Like that's about it. So that's why I put Quinn Ewers over a little bit, because he did not look like, to me, after the combine, Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers flip-flopped. I think Jackson Dart's ahead of Quinn Ewers now.
Yeah, because just like I found that video on Instagram, and I just watched it, and I just kept laughing just because he's from that.
It was bad. It was bad
because he's from that wrong college, as we say.
Yep, the wrong school.
Wrong school. All right, upcoming week. School. All right, top 5 games to watch this upcoming week, Kyle. Who you got?
We got an exciting week. We got an exciting week here. It's the last week of basketball, so you might as well just throw all the basketball teams in here.
Pretty much, like that's kind of what I've got. Is like it's mostly basketball, and yeah, it's including Tuesday and Saturday games here. So
I got 3 SEC games and 2 Big Ten games. So I'm not really in any particular order. I have number 1 Auburn versus 22 Texas A&M tonight.
Okay.
I think it's tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's today, actually. Yeah, because I have some bets on there. So number 1 Auburn versus 22 Texas A&M. I wanted to almost put like this game as like an upset game because Auburn has a big game right after that. Yeah, and they have a big game right after that. So I don't think it will be an upset, but it's one of those that could be, and it could be a close game. And Texas A&M
trap game for them.
They need a boost. Yeah, this is the iconic trap game right here. My number 2, or again, not in particular order, just number 2 of my games. I had 13 Maryland versus 17 Michigan.
I agree with you with that one.
I think it's going to be a good game just because Michigan has to win this game. Like they have to win out if they want to win the Big Ten regular season. So. Yep. They got to win tonight, and they've looked terrible the last 3-4. I mean, honestly, they have not looked really good the whole last month. But
no,
I think if they're going to turn around, this is their last chance at home to turn around. So it should be a good game. My number 3, I got 5 Florida versus number 7 Alabama. Should be a very exciting game. 2 top guys going at each other again. My 4th game, I have, again, 7 Alabama going to Auburn to play number 1 Auburn, which should be, honestly, the game of the week because that's probably the highest rated type game of the week this week. The only one that I would have over it is if Michigan beats Maryland, and then we have my last game, which would be 17 Michigan versus 8 Michigan State. Winner takes the Big Ten.
Yep. So I agree with you on those. Yeah. The only difference I have is the Florida-Alabama game, really. I feel like that game's going to be very big tomorrow night. It's in Alabama, and to be honest, this is a big game for Florida to try and stay on a winning streak because they turn around and they play Ole Miss at home, and I don't know. With Alabama going to play Auburn on Saturday, this is Alabama's senior night. So usually senior nights, your seniors show up and they play, they ball out, and then you got all your younger guys like the freshmen and the juniors and sophomores. They want to show up for their seniors as well.
Yep.
So it's definitely. I feel like it's going to be a game, but my prediction is the Tide are going to beat the Gators at home. I agree with you with Maryland, Michigan, Alabama at Auburn on Saturday, and then Michigan at Michigan State on Saturday as well. And then my fifth one, I've got actually the ACC championship for the women's basketball. So whoever ends up in that championship game, I feel like that's going to be a top 5 game, no matter who's in it. Like, because you got State, you got Notre Dame. Your other 2 that are in your top 4 is Florida State, and I believe it's Duke in the top 4.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but yeah. So yeah, I feel like that's going to be a top 5 game, just no matter who's in that ACC championship game. So upset predictions.
I guess I never went over my picks.
well, we're gonna get into there, but yeah.
So upset. We're doing upsets.
Upsets, and then you can do your gut predictions or whichever way. It doesn't matter.
All right. So
because I haven't done my upset
because
yet,
I wanted to.
So.
My upset. I wanted to throw in a game as top 5 games to watch, but I couldn't really do it over those games because it might not be. But my upset of the week is going to be number 2 Duke losing to Chapel Hill. It's round 2 of the biggest rivalry in college basketball. So I think UNC could upset them. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there.
And they need that win too to stay in the NCAA talks. Like they're one of the first 4 out.
That one would secure them to me a pretty good chance of making it in if they can beat Duke right there. So
yeah, especially if they win that and they make a good run in the ACC tournament, they could get themselves back in.
Yeah, at least win 1 or 2 games in their ACC tournament. I think they're in.
Yeah. So my upset prediction is going to be Kansas State over number 10 Iowa State. I believe Kansas State's going to pull off another upset. They've been doing it here and there throughout the season. And,
yes, they have.
So I feel like they're going to beat Iowa State there. I think this is a Friday game. No, this is a Saturday game.
I wanted to pick that one too, but I didn't like Kansas State playing at Iowa State. That was the only thing deterring me on that one.
So, and then, my gut predictions, I've got the Tide over the Gators, like I said, on tomorrow night. And then I've got the Wolverines over the Terps tomorrow night. Then I've got the Tigers over the Tide. So the Tide get a win, and then they take a loss on the road in Auburn on Saturday. And then I've got, unfortunately, Sparty beating the Wolverines on Sunday here. I want to take the Wolverines to win, but it's going to be hard to go into East Lansing and get a win. But they at least split the next 2 games in my mind with beating the Terps. And then my champ for the ACC tournament, I'm taking Notre Dame. I believe if anything, Notre Dame has a very strong team to make it all the way and win this whole thing. And if it does become a rematch between Notre Dame and NC State, Notre Dame's gonna get their revenge.
I like it. Yeah, I pretty much have the exact same as you. I have Auburn beating Texas A&M, Michigan beating Maryland. I have Alabama beating Florida at home, and then losing to Auburn when they go to Auburn to play. And I can't do it. I think Michigan State's going to beat Michigan. Michigan hasn't looked good, so I don't think. I mean, I don't even know if they're going to beat Maryland, but yeah, I'm going to take Michigan State on that one.
I hear you. All right. Some fantasy focus, Kyle. What are we talking about here,
quick
bud?
Fantasy focus.
Some quick ones.
So we'll just talk about some. Yeah, we'll just talk some trade talk that just happened. Maybe some landing spots where we'd like to see some rookies and/or the 3 main free agents really left. So, Debo to the Commanders. How do you feel about that, Alex? Debo the
I'm kind of
Commanders.
scared of that because the whole NFC North is going to be playing the NFC East. Yeah, East for this
Yeah,
upcoming season. So yeah,
yeah,
I think we got the Commanders in Washington for our season
yeah.
for the Lions.
I don't know how. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, Debo's like 29. So is Terry McLaurin. So he's got two older receivers. I mean, it's definitely going to help.
Yeah,
Uh,
Jaden.
it's going to help. Yeah, Jaden, because he's going to get two more. He's going to get another experienced guys. Now he has two experienced guys, and I don't think they're done. I think they might go after another veteran, maybe not a big name, but another veteran and or draft another guy.
Well, yeah, I think they're
So,
going to draft a wide out, probably second,
yep,
third round.
yep. So I don't know what to take on it. I was kind of out on Debo to begin with, even where didn't matter where he get traded, but he might have a good year here. It's
Yeah, he might have a
I don't know,
turnaround year. He's just going to have to lose a little bit of weight, unfortunately.
yeah, I think he might just be in that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 fringe, like maybe a flex type appeal. I think it doesn't really hurt Terry as much. It might actually help Terry because it might draw some more attention away from him, so
Yeah,
maybe he can get some one-on-one coverage more. So I think the biggest guy it helps is Jaden Daniels. It gives him another experienced target to throw to in the passing game. So interesting. It was an interesting one.
yeah,
Didn't
for
see that one
sure.
happening. So let's talk about some landing spots. Where would you like these last main three big guys? I think one is going to stay. I think Chris Godwin's going to stay. I think Tampa's going to really try to.
Okay.
So we don't really talk about Godwin as much, but where would you like to see Devontae Adams and or Aaron Rodgers? Rodgers
End up. I think they
for
could
fantasy
go
for fantasy value.
for fantasy value. I think it would benefit for both of them if they end up in Las Vegas for the Raiders because
Yep.
you've got a young tight end who just had a great season in Brock Bowers, and that takes a little bit of the target attention away from Devontae, but it's not too much to where he can still throw it to him as a wideout rather than a tight end. And Aaron Rodgers is really good. He's always good to throw it to that tight
He's
end,
still
and
good.
he's always good to make it happen with Devontae Adams here and there. So I
Yep.
think
I like
them
that.
landing in Las Vegas would be beneficial to both of them.
Yep, I had them possibly on there. I don't know if it's going to work with Devontae going back to Vegas, so that's the only thing hindering me on that one. But
Yeah, I
the
know he
two,
was just there, but I think if Aaron goes
yeah,
with him, I think it's going to be a little bit easier.
I got I got two with a possible third that I could see it working well and being good for fantasy. My first one is my number one. I think if they package them together and they go to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh Steelers together,
Okay.
Pittsburgh is literally a good quarterback and another good wide receiver away from being a superstar team because their defense is loaded. The last 6 years, 5 years, all they've needed is a quarterback. So if you can get a good Rodgers for another year, and then you have Devontae for another year or two with George Pickens, young crew. So I would love to see him go to Pittsburgh, and they've both proven they can play in the cold. There's not an issue there. So I'd like to see Pittsburgh. My other one I'd like to see possibly would be like New Orleans Saints because they're in dire need of a quarterback and another wide receiver. It would give them a nice little kind of buffer year before going into the next year where they might have to draft a quarterback. So I could see them going to the Saints. It would be a good fitting spot for them. My one wild card spot I'd like to see is possibly the Tennessee Titans.
Okay. And then the Tennessee Titans probably go for like a wide receiver, running back, O
Yep.
line.
Yep. I could see Tennessee being a good landing spot because they could use a wide receiver again and they could use a quarterback. So and
Yep.
they have the running game. They have two good running backs and their defense is pretty good. So I could like Tennessee could take a chance and go after them.
And then from what you're telling me, though, they'd be going for an O lineman then in the
Yeah.
draft for their first
Get
pick.
an O line, get an O line or get some more defense in there. Maybe another weapon wide receiver with them. So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting. I'd be curious to see where they go. There's a couple good options that I could see them going and still being fantasy relevant if they go to those locations.
Because if they do that, they could potentially trade their first draft to somebody for somebody good to add on
Yeah,
and have a later first round pick and still get a pretty good O lineman like I'm
yeah.
saying or
You
somebody
could
else.
Yeah, because like the Saints and Tennessee have pretty good picks for this year, so they could
Yeah.
literally just like you said, they could trade back and take a Jackson Dart or take somebody else, like maybe if they want for the next quarterback that they have,
Yeah.
and then get some value out of that top pick. So yeah, there's some good options there. Still, I think for Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers to give us some fantasy value. Let's talk about some rookies. Where you would like to see some of these guys go. So I
Okay.
can kind of like group up some of the wide receivers and the running backs together. So it's like, where would you? My number one is like, where would you like to see Ashton Genty go? And I have one team in my head that I would actually like to see them go or him go.
Ashton. I think I want to say Seattle could be a good landing spot for him, and then probably Chicago. I mean, Chicago. I don't know.
Chicago could use running back.
Yeah, I don't know if they have any good running in backs in their
Yeah,
room.
they
So
pretty much just got Swift. So yeah,
yeah,
my number one for Ashton Genty would be Dallas Cowboys. I think he's going to go to Dallas, and I think that's the best spot for him. They've proven with solid, big name running backs that they can be superstars there, and I think to me that would be the best possible spot for him to go
nice
to be a
okay.
superstar because
Yeah,
you
I
have
can
weapons
definitely see
everywhere.
that.
You're getting Dak back, you're getting CD back, you have a good defense. Like that'd be almost a perfect spot for him.
Yeah,
We kind of talked about Hampton last week for UNC. He's a big time running back that's probably going to go as the number 2 overall running back. And I already gave my opinion on that. I think him going to like New England, so he doesn't have to be like the number 1. You still have Ramondre Stevenson, but he gets to team back up with his ex quarterback, and it'd be a good spot for him. And they like to run the ball. So, the other one I wanted to talk about was Judkins out of the running backs. He's the one that I could see going to one of these teams that not necessarily really need a running back, but maybe as draft him as like a backup or
yeah.
possibly a good starter. So the team that stands out for me on Judkins and or like Travion Henderson would be the Chargers over there with Jim Harbaugh.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Go play for good old daddy.
Yep, go play for Daddy. And then we got our wide receivers. So we got basically you can kind of group them together, but the big 2 we got Ted Arroyo, McMillan, and Luther Burden.
I wouldn't know anybody that really needs a wideout.
To me,
Like-
if he falls there, I think the Packers would love to get one of those 2.
Yeah, I could see the Packers possibly needing a wideout. The 49ers might need a wideout with giving up
I
Deebo
think they'll take
Samuel.
one too. Those are my 2 landing spots.
Yeah, and then I could see possibly the New England Patriots probably taking a wideout as well.
Yep. Those were my 2. I had Packers and 49ers as one of those 2 if they can fall to them.
Yeah.
Them guys taking one. The Carolina Panthers I could see probably taking one. Maybe give them
the Panthers definitely
give
need a
Bryce
wideout
little
for
help.
sure. Yeah,
Bryce a little help. Where would you like to see our boy Colson Loveland go?
Loveland. I would say probably the Chargers or
Now it's been one of the number 1s that he's been looked at.
yeah, because they need somebody like that on their team, and then I could see probably the Cowboys because their veteran tight end he's starting to get a little bit on the older
Yep.
side, and they could use a younger tight end.
Yeah. I liked the Chargers with Loveland to keep him fantasy relevant. My one that I really liked with Loveland would be going to Seattle. I think Seattle really does need a good tight end, and you'd be going back with your ex Michigan coach with their defensive coordinator was with Michigan. So yeah, I'd like to see him in Seattle. I think he could thrive in Seattle, and they need a big name tight end out there. So
Yeah.
yep, and then we got 2 quarterbacks that we can talk about here. Where would you like to see for fantasy Cam Ward go? because I think he's going to be our number one. I think he's going to be the number one go.
Well, if we're talking to where Aaron Rodgers and Adams do go to Tennessee, Cam Ward would possibly end up in Cleveland, but fantasy wise, that's not attractive. So I mean, it's gonna be hard to where Tennessee's got to trade away that pick, and if anything, I could see New Orleans probably landing him, which would be a very good spot for him. And then who else needs a QB? I think maybe
almost every team needs a damn QB now.
I would probably say San Francisco. Maybe, I don't know. Like, those would be my just two stabs at it, really.
So my prediction for Cam Ward is I think New York Giants trade up a couple spots and get Cam Ward. I think Dayball's job's on the line, and I think he wants Cam Ward. And I actually would like to see Cam Ward go to New York because then you have weapons with you. You get to third Malik Neighbors. You got some decent rookie running back from last year. So I'd like to see Cam Ward go to the Giants. And I do think Shedeur Sanders is probably going to end up going to Cleveland. I don't know how I feel about it. Cleveland has some weapons. So if Shedeur can just be competent and be a decent rookie, I think it's going to give him some fantasy value, and it's going to help with the Cleveland wide receivers' fantasy value stay relevant. So, I don't know if Cleveland will go quarterback or they'll just go running back, but I guess we'll see. I think they will probably go after a quarterback in the first round and maybe get one of those like Judkins or Travion Henderson type running backs in maybe the second round. So that'd be my prediction with them.
Okay, I like that. All right, that it for the fantasy. We moving on to some gambling.
Yeah, let's move on to some gambling time.
All right, time to start gambling some money away. I am a little bit off the schneid, but I went 2-1 last week with my picks. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My same game, I went 1-2. Fantilli actually scoring, but the others not hitting with Larkin, and then obviously the Red Wings losing. So my 3-leg parlay this coming week, I've got the Bruins money line over the Preds. That's sitting at -130 right now. And then I've got the Lightning money line over the Jackets. That's sitting at -170. And then I've got the Rangers beating the Caps. I feel like the Rangers need this win, especially with their potential of being a wild card, which I don't want to see that as a Red Wings fan, but they're gonna have to have that fight in them to get that win over the Caps, and that's sitting at -102, making it a total of +456. So $10 pays out 55. So it's not too bad.
Okay, I like that. It's pretty good. So yeah, I was kind of same with you. I was kind of like mixed last week. I went for my just regular 3-leg parlay. I went 1 for 3. Puts me to 30-20 overall. Let's see. My same game parlays, I actually did really good. I went 3-0. My same game parlay brought me up to 13-5. So I might just need to stick to same game parlays because I've been pretty on a roll with those guys.
Nice.
And then, my player props, I went like 1 for 2 last week. But one was a push because one player didn't even play. So I'll give it a push. It would have been like 1-1. So
yeah, because he was the last minute scratch.
Yeah, Thero was a last minute scratch for Arkansas. So he's my push. So for my 3-leg parlay today, I got pretty much today. So I just wanted to see how it would go.
Yeah.
I took the Red Wings money line versus Carolina tonight. It's in Detroit off of Detroit losing 2 games, and that's usually where I like to take playoff contender teams. If they're coming off a 2-game losing streak and they're playing at home for the next one and they have playoff contentions, those are the teams I like to bet on.
Yep.
They were like +180, so I think Detroit can take Carolina. They have the skill to, so I'd like Red Wings money line versus Carolina. I got Auburn tonight versus Texas A&M. I like the Auburn -4.5. Every time I want to say Auburn's going to get the upset game of the week, they go out and beat a team by like 30 points. So I'm just going to take the -4.5. That's a low amount, and I could see them covering that honestly easily. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then my last one I got kind of same thing. Boston was kind of like struggling a little bit after the All-Star break, but I have Boston at home, money line versus Nashville tonight. Nashville's not a good team, and I feel like Boston should be able to take it, especially trying to stay in that wild card race. So with those three, that gets me to a plus 867.
Nice. Oh boy. Yummy.
Yep.
All right.
I liked it.
Yeah, I like that too. All right. My honorable mention. We've got the Honor Palmer Invitational taking place this weekend. Triple chance sitting there with Scheffler, McIlroy, and Xander to win, sitting at plus 140. I kind of like that. I like that.
Those are your big names too. So
yeah. So I like that, and I'm putting that in there as my honorable mention for this week.
my honorable mention was basically it's just for funsies. Take the UNC money line against Duke this weekend because you might get some. It might be like plus 250 or something like that. I could see an upset. Those games, it's just like any rivalry game.
Or take their spread.
Yeah, if you like being safer, take the spread because it's probably gonna be like 10 points or 8 points. So you can take your spread. But if you want to feel fun for an honorable mention, take the UNC money line against Duke.
Cool. I'd like that. All right. Same game parlay. I'm actually going with the Canes at Red Wings game for my same game parlay.
Same.
I'm taking Sebastian Aho anytime goal. That's sitting at plus 140. DeBrincat anytime goal plus 170. And then Red Wings money line sitting at plus 164. So this grand total is plus 1,400. $10 pays 150. Yeah.
Dang. That's a big one. I went a little bit safer on my same game, and that's what I usually do. I usually try to stay a little bit safe on my same games.
That's the thing is, like, the Brinket's been pretty hot and getting some goals here lately for the Red Wings. And then Aho's usually that goal scorer for the Canes. And I feel like the Red Wings aren't going to be able to deny him and, take the Red Wings win.
I like it. So mine is, let's see, I have Red Wings plus 1.5. I'm going to not take the money line. I'm just going to take the plus 1.5 to make it safer.
Okay.
So Red Wings plus 1.5. Red Wings is going to be the first team to score. And then DeBrincat with 2+ shots on goal instead of points or goal scores. I want just 2+ shots on goal to give me a plus 240.
Nice. Okay. All right. So top 3 player props of the week. So I'm taking Nikos. The Avs are playing. I can't remember. Oh boy.
Good old Natchez. Get some Natchez action in there.
Natchez getting an anytime goal. I think they're playing tonight. It's either tonight or tomorrow. They're playing the Penguins tonight. So yeah, it's the Penguins tonight because he's sitting there at plus 160. I'm going to jump on your game with Duke and Carolina. I'm going to take Cooper Flag double-double. I feel like he's going to get that done no matter which way that game goes. Like he's going to show up and show out against the Carolina team. And then Panarin for the Rangers. They're with them playing the Capitals this week. I believe he's going to get an anytime goal against them.
Okay. Yep. So my top player props, because we can't really get odds on these if anyone's listening on that because we can't really determine these
sometimes they're not
for games this weekend. So
like that was the thing from the last two. It's like Cooper Flag won't pop up until day of, and Panarin won't pop up till tomorrow. So
yeah, it's more on the lines of this is what if the line when it comes out, if it is this or better odds, then take them. This is like our favorites.
Yeah.
So mine is Dylan Larkin point tonight. I think he was pointless the last 2 nights, so I think he's gonna get himself a point tonight against Carolina. With the UNC Duke, I have RJ Davis having a 15+ point game just because I think he's gonna ball out because I do think UNC is gonna play a lot better than last time, and RJ Davis did not have a good game last time. So if UNC is going to have a chance to win, RJ Davis has to play well. And I think he's been hot lately, and I think he carries it into that game. So give me the 15+ points on him. And the last time I did this one, I missed by 1 rebound. So I'm going to go Johnny Brome for Auburn tonight getting a double-double.
Nice. I like that. All right. Don't bet on it. I am saying do not bet on the Auburn-Alabama game. It's too big of a rivalry game to bet on Like
Yeah, it's
in
gonna
my
be tough. That's
mind,
gonna be a tough one.
it's gonna be a tough one to bet on. I feel like Auburn will win this game, like with them being at home, but Alabama could come in and they could surprise everybody. Shock the
Yeah,
world type of thing. And then my other do
I could
not
see
bet
it.
on will be remaining there until the conference tournaments are over. Do not bet on the conference tournaments. Like they can get a little hairy, a little bit, streaky, if you will. Like
Miracles happen.
I mean, yeah, if you start seeing a team like NC State last year, like making a run like that, sure, yeah, bet on that
Yep.
team, but don't be surprised if they inevitably lose. So.
Yep. I only got one bet on it, or don't bet on it, and that is don't bet on Michigan right now for this week with the Maryland Michigan State game. Don't do it because they have the talent to go out there and beat any team in the country, but they're not playing like it right now. So I just wouldn't touch them at this point because I don't know if they're going to put up 40 points or they're going to put up 85 points. I can't tell you right now. So unless you're trying to bet on Golden to get 15 plus points, which is almost like a lock at this point, don't bet on Michigan. So that's my big one.
Okay, I like that. All right. Now, to bring it on home with some homeward bounds.
Homeward bound.
Homeward bound. So I've got a note on Wolverines hockey. We haven't really talked about Wolverines hockey here lately. We didn't really touch on it much. Got some Big Ten tournament
Secured their
coming up.
quarterfinal.
Yeah, they're going to be playing against the
home.
Penn State Nittany Lions for a 3-game series, and then if they win, they are the 4 seed. So guess who they're going to be playing? Michigan State in the single elimination.
Yep.
So they got a pretty tough road there in the Big Ten tournament right now.
They got a tough road, but because they beat Ohio State this weekend, it gave them home ice against Penn State in this quarterfinal. They get to play at home, so that's a big one for them.
Yeah, which I feel like they'll win that 3-game series against them.
I think they will too.
It might go 2-1, but I don't know if it will be a sweep.
Yeah, I don't know about sweep, but I could see them taking that and having a Michigan State set up for that one. That would be interesting. Now I don't really for NC State. Their baseball team's starting to get better. That's one thing.
They're starting to turn it around.
They started hot. They started like 4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started like 4-0, and then they lost like 5 in a row, and then now they just won like 3 or 4 more in a row. So hopefully they can stay hot and continue it because right now they're kind of like busting right now. They got to start winning against good teams.
Well,
and with going in, yeah, go ahead on that.
I wasn't really going to say much other than, well, they got maybe 1 or 2 more matchups against good teams. Some of their matchups coming up aren't really hot, really. Like,
That's
kind
of like baseball when it's early.
Yeah, so.
Usually how it goes with baseball early, so before they get into those conference games. But yeah, when we talk about Michigan basketball now, how disappointing they have been to me the last week and a half. Honestly, they've been disappointing the last month. They have looked terrible pretty much all month. Yes, they've won games, but they only beating teams by like 2 points. They're just playing down to their opponent. The Illinois-Michigan game on whatever day it was, Sunday or Monday, was the worst I've seen Michigan play.
That was on Sunday.
And that's a lot coming from them just having a 49-point win. The Michigan-Illinois game was the worst I have seen them play all year, and it was terrible. They looked so bad. They gave up, I think it was 17 or 18 offensive rebounds to Illinois. That's insane. That's got to stop. That's got to stop.
Yeah,
it was the offensive rebounding.
Sure. You're not going to win a game doing that.
They can't shoot right now. Yep. Offensive rebound, then they turn the ball over, and they can't shoot threes right now. They're falling apart. So I'm not very confident in them going into the tournament now unless they can figure it out. But you cannot. You have 2 freaking 7-foot tall guys down low, and you gave up 17 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
I watched the whole Illinois-Michigan game. All they did was shoot threes. They would miss the first one, get an offensive rebound, make the second one. Just get the defensive rebound. Don't allow them to get these second chances. As soon as the ball would go up for Illinois, the whole team crashed, and there would only be one Michigan guy down low trying to get a rebound. Like that's not how you defensively rebound the ball. You got to crash. Guards weren't boxing out on their players when they were crashing in on these threes. They've got to do something, whether it be all practice rebounds all freaking day because they're going to get killed.
Yeah, especially against each other. Like you need to be able to get those defensive rebounds for sure, because you're just resetting the shot clock for them and giving them another chance to drain some threes.
Yes. There was probably 4 or 5 opportunities during this game where they got like 3 straight offensive rebounds off misses, and then it ended with a 3-pointer for Illinois. So,
Good.
Illinois made, of course, like 13 threes, but they also got like 17 different chances or extra chances to make threes. So if you're a team that's not going to defensive rebound, you're going to get offensive rebounded that bad on the boards, and then also turn the ball over 14 times, you're not winning. You're not going to beat anybody in this league. Yeah, especially the good teams. When you come to tournament time, you're losing all of them. You're not winning a game if you do that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So I'm nervous. I'm nervous for them.
Yeah,
I'm nervous for them.
It's definitely not a good positive look for them coming up with tournament play. But yeah, if they can
Maryland,
get the
Michigan
practice
State
in and get it turned around, yeah.
My 3 things: rebound the ball in basketball, don't turn the ball over, and make your free throws. That's all you got to do to have a successful team, to me, in college basketball.
Yeah.
Rebound the ball, don't turn the ball over, and make your free throws, and you will be in every game, if not win almost most of your games. So, and it's the 3 things that they're terrible at this last month. No. Free throws, rebounding, and turn the ball over. So it's just a recipe for disaster, and it's a team that could be on the upset alert when we come into doing brackets.
I definitely can see that for sure. I mean, because they're projected to be right there around being a 3 or 4 seed right now. So, yeah.
Yep. They're right now a 4 seed. So, if they lose both these games this week, they'll probably drop to a 5 seed.
No. All right. I've got nothing on baseball, so I'm going into hockey unless you got some Tigers, Yankees baseball. Nope. All right. So
not really. We're just spring training stuff.
Red Wings getting absolutely robbed. Obviously, in one of the worst stadiums in the world. How's this a surprise to anybody? Like,
that was a tough loss.
Did Bucky just pay off the refs? I'm sure he had a bag of cash.
And it was, and that penalty was right in front of the official, which is what it kills me that the ref was right there.
Yeah.
Stick to the helmet. Like, I don't want to hear like fans, or especially like Columbus fans, that go, oh, well, he embellished. Okay, listen. You can't embellish a high stick if the high stick actually happened. There's no embellishment after that.
It literally hit him in the face. Like,
if a stick hit you in the face, like, yes, maybe he went, like even more dramatically, but the stick still hit him square under his visor in his face. He can act however he wants after that. It was still a high stick. It's not embellishment. No. And then people were trying to like justify him, like, well, they were stick fighting. Well, actually, the dude slew foot. If you watch the replay, he slew foots Edmondson, and then the sticks happen because he's falling backwards from it. He literally kicks his feet out from him, and then the stick comes up and hits Edmondson in the face. So there was 2 penalties in one. No penalty called, and Columbus scores. Like, how?
Yeah, and the puck's like over on the opposite side of the body of the Columbus Blue Jacket player, so there's nothing the defensive guy can do. It was.
It sucks because I really wanted them to get that point or win and get 2 points out of that. So I hope they, like Red Wings, don't take those last 2 games and kind of like, oh, this is how we're going to be. Maybe I really want them to rebound tonight. If they can rebound and beat Carolina, especially in regulation, I think it tells you where they're at as a team. They're ready to move on and keep winning.
And speaking of the Canes, not looking so great with the Rantanen trade. I mean, a lot of people are saying that he might be traded again. Yeah, like because the trading
because he doesn't want to sign his contract. He doesn't want to sign.
Yeah, that and he's
3 days. We got 3 days.
He's not really showing up for them. Like he showed up the first 2-3 games, but now he's just kind of being lackadaisical.
To me, it was. So, I like the trade. I hate what Carolina had to give up for it.
Well, for sure.
I hated they had to give up Natchez for it because I just saw a stat also. Still, right now, they're the number 4 best offensive line in all of hockey was KK, Natchez, and I forgot who the other guy was with them. Still to this day, and Natchez isn't even there anymore. That was the number 4 best offensive producing line, and you got rid of him. So, yeah, I think they're probably going to have to trade Rantanen because it's not working out, and he's not going to sign an extension. So it's just a waste of a guy unless he can turn around in the next day or two. I would.
And I'm sure they don't want to end up with paying him at the end of the season either.
Nope. That and because we
he's
really
good-
didn't
he's
talk
good-
about it too much.
Yeah,
Because,
because he's gonna ask for a big bag. That's for sure.
yeah, and they offered him a big bag, and he said no. So it's like, I mean, I don't know what else they want to offer him. So
Yeah.
it's looking like they're not going to be able to re-sign him. And especially with the trade deadline coming up, which we didn't really get into Red Wings talk on trade deadline, I'd like to see them go after a stud defenseman, veteran defenseman.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't give up too much. Don't give up too much of the young crew, like not actually on the roster, but like the minors guys, the AHL guys. Don't give up too much, but maybe like a Chris Letang, or there was another one I wanted them to get, and I can't
Or
think
some
of his name
picks.
right now. But like, no more. You're trying to go for wins now, so you don't want to get picks as much. You want to get a stud veteran defenseman right now. If you really want to compete,
giving
with
up
the
picks.
playoffs.
Sorry, giving up.
Yeah. Maybe give up a pick here and maybe one of the smaller good players that are in your farm system. Go after like the Chris Letang. They need a veteran defenseman,
Yeah.
like a veteran superstar style defenseman like Chris Letang. He's a little bit older, but he can still produce. Like those kind of guys are who I would like to see the Red Wings go after.
I like that. All right. Sticking in Detroit, the Pistons staying hot and in playoff contention. They're still in sixth place, 35-27, and that was one of the hits that I had this past weekend. Past week they beat the Celtics, the number one team in the East. That was a shock the world type of win for them, and that's definitely a big boost for the guys. So,
Yep.
Then
Pistons keep rolling.
Wrexham, they're out of the EFL Trophy tournament now. They want to turn to being in the the Wales Trophy tournament, but they have to be sanctioned by Barclays or somebody. It's weird. So right now they're considered English football, right? And that's what that is, English Football League Trophy. And it's basically everybody gets to play for the trophy, like no matter who you are, as long as you're considered English football, you can play for this trophy. And yeah, they unfortunately lose in the semifinals, but now it's time to focus on the regular season because, like I said last week, they're in third place. They've only taken one draw recently, going 18-8-7 now with 62 points, just getting 1 point with that draw. So they can, turn things around. They played today. I don't even know if they won or draw or any of that. Give me a second, because let's see here. They won 1-0 against Henderson Field. So now they are 19-8-7.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they played earlier, right around, I think it was like 3 o'clock, 2:30, somewhere around there. All right, and so that wraps up this episode of This and That Podcast. Next week, we'll look back on how we did with our pick top 5 games of the week compared to the actual top 5 games. What we could talk about fantasy-wise there, Kyle? What you got in your pocket?
We might talk about some dynasty values, and pretty much we'll go for trade news and probably some dynasty values.
Yeah, see who you should keep. I like that. All right. So tune in if we make more gambling money or not. I'm Alex Bauer.
And I'm Kyle Dobus.
Y'all have a good rest of your day. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Bang.
Bang. No lag.
With the bang.
Gotta pee.
All right.
And Corey called, so I'm gonna answer that real quick.